Hey, this is Mr. Catman here,
And this is Korrin Kammer.
and today we're talking about the Star Trek Next Generation episode, Booby Trap. In this episode, the Enterprise gets stuck in a booby trap. It's a great name for an episode because they find a ancient battle site, as you can see in the picture, the screenshot from it, and they go onto the alien vessel and they're trapped in a booby trap, and then they get out with the power of. The moral of the story is don't use technology.
Wait,
As
what?
I under
That
that's
was the moral of the
I'm
story?
pretty sure because we'll talk about it. I'm pretty sure that was the moral of the story because there's things leading into it because at the start. So the reason I think that is at the very start of the episode, Geordi is in the holodeck with his date, and he's using all sorts of technology to impress her. He makes the holodeck make a. Did he make a mariachi band? No, that was Q in a different episode. They should have had him make a mariachi band down on the beach.
No, he made a single violinist.
Okay, that's right. That's right. That would have been. I think it would have been better if Jordy had made a mariachi band, just to show how clueless he is. They missed so many chances to do some funny stuff in these episodes.
It's weird though, because whenever I see an episode like this
Hmm.
where Jordy asks Clueless,
Yeah,
I'm always like, oh yeah, he's supposed to be weird with women. I
yeah,
always forget that.
yeah. If he were really weird with women, he'd be like me and he just freeze up and not to say anything.
I mean, the fact he's going on a date is beyond
Yeah.
a lot of people these
How did he
days.
get? They don't explain how did he get that date.
See, like that's the thing. When they were together, I was like, what? Why? What did they even talk about?
Yeah, how did they even
Like, they
go
have
on the
nothing in
date? What did he do?
common.
Did he like send her an email and say, "Hey woman who's never been on the show before and will never be seen ever again."
Wait, haven't we seen her before though?
I can't remember
I feel
anybody
like I
except the
feel
main
like her
cast.
face. I've seen it a couple of times or
Maybe as
something.
an extra, but no, it's like I don't remember anybody except the main cast.
I can't remember if Jordy ever gets with anyone.
Um, I'm sure he gets with somebody in the holodeck. In Star Trek Enterprise, when they see the holodeck for the first time from an alien ship, the first thing they talk about is the sex stuff they could do in the holodeck. They don't
Yeah,
specifically say that because on network television, they say one of the guys says, "Oh, I could only imagine what people would do in the holo and something like that."
yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
so obviously they know, like they knew when they were making these episodes what people would use them for.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like
Jordy,
everything.
everybody was using it for it. Jordy was definitely using it for that. Lieutenant Barkley was definitely using it for that.
I don't even remember him ever using the holodeck, but I hardly.
Oh,
What isn't he
Barkley
in
had.
like four episodes?
Oh, Jordy or Barkley?
Barkley.
Barkley had a holodeck addiction.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
God, that's such a cliche for
yeah,
that character.
and there was a space janitor who always complained about having to clean it out after he left.
Oh, I wanted to say something about this episode though.
Yeah, yeah.
It reminded me of that one Deep Space Nine episode
Mm-hmm.
where they respond to a signal and it's like 1,000 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember
Oh,
that one
yeah. Is
where the
that
woman
was
like
that the time travel one?
kind of, yeah, like this the signal went through time. So it was like really old, but it went to the future when the ladies send it out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And
I
it
know.
kind
I
of
know what it
reminded me of
was.
this because it was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you know, like a beacon that was set off like 1,000 years ago or
yeah.
something. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's like the part I really liked was that they get there and it's like, the
Yeah,
races have already annihilated themselves,
yeah,
and I love self-annihilation. It's my favorite thing.
yeah. They did that in Fallout 4 as well. There was a quest.
Uh,
There was a
which
quest.
one?
Fallout 4. You get a radio message. Somebody saying they're trapped inside their little bunker,
Uh-huh.
and they keep talking about everything that's going on in there. But then when you
Yeah.
finally get in there, they've been dead the whole time.
So how did you get the message?
It's just an automated radio message that sent
Oh,
out.
okay. I probably did that quest and forgot, man. That game is a blur to me.
Yeah, I haven't played that in a long time. But back to Star Trek. I
Yeah.
took us off track. How in the world did Jordy? I think that's the most important part of this episode. How in the world did Jordy get that date? because he certainly didn't ask her.
Well, you know what the thing that kept like bothering me about that episode,
Yeah,
which is completely different than you, is like, okay, so the Enterprise was brought there because of the beacon, right? From
yeah,
the ship.
yeah.
Why the hell did the ship go there? Because they said it's a booby trap, and I'm like, well,
I
what
I
made the
I I
ship go there?
I think that I think that that was one of the ships in the war, and
Yeah,
when it was
yeah, but why were they
disabled
there?
because there was a war because they were part of the war, and then somehow they survived. Somehow, I think that's what happened. I'm really not. It's really not clear because I thought that ship they went on was part of the war, and like they were sent out the distress beacon because they were stuck there, but there was nobody to answer it.
Well, there was like a line that someone said where they're like, "Oh no, we got caught in the same booby trap that caught them that lured them here." And the
Yeah.
way they said it was like
Oh.
that ship was lured there too, and I was like, "Wait, what lured them though?"
Oh yeah. Well, okay, if that's the case, why did that? Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was
don't
really
know.
bothering me. I thought the
I
entire
just
episode I was hoping there'd be like
maybe
an
it's I just
explanation.
oh yeah, maybe I just assumed it was part of the war.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do assume at first, but then like once you find out it's a booby trap like caused
Yeah.
by some phenomenon, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, how did the other ship get
Yeah.
there? But yeah, that was the thing that was like bothering me. That
Yeah.
was like my main complaint.
Yeah, I didn't notice it because I probably didn't even hear that because I just assumed already why they were there.
Yeah,
And oh great, somebody's calling here. Hold on a second.
all good.
All right, I got that fixed.
All right.
So what I was saying is why I think the moral of the story was don't use technology because after Jordy's hilarious date, somebody tells him he should just be himself. Don't
Yeah,
rely on technology.
but they didn't say don't rely on the technology. They just said stop putting on a front.
Yeah, yeah. I think the moral. I think that was the moral of this whole story though, because well, when we get to the end,
Oh wait, I think I kind of know what you're trying to say
yeah,
now. When I'm
yeah,
thinking of the end.
yeah. Not a whole lot happens on this episode, I think, because they wander around on the ship, they get caught in the booby trap, and then they try to get out of it, and they can't. And then Jordy uses the advanced AI to create Dr. Leia Brahms in the holodeck.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, and yet again, the writers have no idea what they're working with there. They have this super advanced computer that
Uh-huh.
can create a super advanced AI, and they barely ever use it.
Yeah.
They only use it when they just suddenly realize, oh, we should use this now. It's not a matter of, oh, we should only use it when we have to. It's, oh, yeah, that's right. We can literally do anything with this. Let's literally do anything we want with this. We completely forgot until right this moment. It,
Yeah.
I don't know. The holodeck has to be the least. It has to be the most underutilized thing in Star Trek.
God, see, it's funny. I think it's overutilized sometimes because it seems like such an easy out.
Yeah, just like the transporters.
Yeah.
So, because usually what they do when when they need to have an episode where they could just transport somebody away, there's always interference or something that keeps that from happening, so they
Yeah.
can't use the
Yeah.
transporters.
Well, I mean, otherwise it would just be there'd be no fucking plot.
Yeah,
But so like, yeah, go on with the chick that he created.
yeah.
Wait, what was her name again?
Leia Brahm.
Okay, I want to call her Eva Brown.
Yeah, I'm a Star Trek nerd, so I know everything about Star Trek.
Well, is she in any other episodes? Do they like reference her ever?
Yeah, she shows up later,
Uh-huh.
and then in All Good Things, the very final episodes, he's married to her.
Wait, how?
They don't explain it. He just is.
You're kidding me. What? That doesn't make any sense.
At some point, they get married. I don't know why. He just is.
That doesn't make sense. She's been
Because
dead for ages.
no, she's not dead. She's alive. Remember, she made this. She was the lead engineer on the Galaxy class starship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's like they said in the episode we just watched that was like ages ago.
No, like that was like the first Galaxy class star, one of the first Galaxy class starships.
Wait, I thought they said a specific time. They made it sound like it was decades ago.
Maybe they did, but I'm a Star Trek nerd, so I know that. I don't know I'm not enough of the nerd to know the exact build dates, the manufacture dates, but I do know that in TNG the Galaxy class ship is a new ship.
Um, that's really confusing because I could have sworn that in the episode they made it sound like she had been, you know.
Well, it's not like they could go get her because they were
Well, no,
trapped
I
there.
get that, but I mean, like they said like a date or something, and then when they were arguing, they said something about how many years passed between them,
Okay.
and it made it sound like it had been a while.
Oh, gee,
And
I'd have to watch again because I can't remember that.
well, yeah, I mean, I watched it like over a week ago too, but I mean, you're probably right. I don't understand. Okay. The fact that they got together in the
Yeah,
last episode. I guess I don't remember that. I haven't seen that episode in years.
yeah. It's like it's yeah. That's the one where Q is sending Picard through time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember the
Yeah. Okay.
episode. I remember like
Okay. Yeah.
everyone's retiring or doing
Yeah.
their own stuff now and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it
Yeah.
and they didn't know about the series Picard, where Picard is an elderly man running around the galaxy, blowing up space aliens.
Wait, I think you cut out for me. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, all good things. That just forgets
Mhm.
about Well, I guess not forget. They didn't know about Star Trek Picard,
Yeah,
the
they didn't know
series.
that was going to exist.
When in all good things, Q's gonna whisper a secret into Picard's ear, but he doesn't do it. I don't know if you remember that part. It was near the end where he's talking about.
I don't remember a lot about All Good
Okay,
Things. I just vaguely remember, didn't Riker have his own ship, or am I
yeah, he had his
completely
own
tripping
ship,
out?
and it was cloaked.
And Picard's on a vineyard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but Q was gonna lean in and say that's because like Picard wanted to know about the truth of existence or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And Q knew he didn't say it, but he was going to say, Picard, you're going to be in a whole bunch of terrible movies and another terrible Star Trek series. And then Picard would have thrown himself off the ship.
Oh shit, hang on, hang on.
Uh-oh. Korrin Kammer is disconnected. Let's try to imagine why Korrin Kammer disconnected. They have this wonderful dog. And I bet that this dog is currently chasing a cat that snuck in through a window. And now there's this animated tornado of a cat and a dog just blowing through the living room. And Korrin Kammer has like a broom. They're saying, get out, stop it, stop fighting. Stop fighting. And and then the cat left. And it turned out the cat was Todd Howard. I think that's what happened. And all right, so Korrin Kammer just told me the dog was about to piss off the neighbors with barking. I think those neighbors are cats. Because cats do not like it when dogs bark. I'll tell you who doesn't like it when dogs bark. Todd Howard. The other day, I was walking my cats past Todd Howard's mansion, as I usually do. And Todd looked out the window and he saw me. And we locked eyes. And he came running out and said, "Hey, Mr. Catman, the hell are you doing with those?" And he looked down. He thought they were dogs, but they were actually cats. And he looked at me and said, "Hey, Mr. Catman, those aren't dogs. Those are cats." And I said, "Yeah, I just explained that to everybody. You don't have to say it twice." And I said, "These are my cats eating marbles. You've seen them before." And Todd said, "Oh, yeah, I've stolen both of your cats before, haven't I?" And I said, yes, you have, Todd. And Todd said, this conversation isn't going anywhere. And he ran back into his house and locked the door, and I walked off with Sadie and Marbles. And at that very moment, a giant semi-truck came flying by. And Marbles and Sadie saw the kind of truck it was. It was a truck carrying a massive load of cat food. So Sadie and Marbles broke out of their titanium leashes because they are very strong, and Sadie is very fat. And they leaped into the truck, and they dented the side of it when they hit it, and the truck went flipping over onto its side, and all the cat food came flying out. And wouldn't you know it, there were cats all over the place. They were coming out of trees, out of the sewer drains. They were coming out of chimneys. Like a whole bunch came flooding out of Todd Howard's windows, and they were gobbling up all the food. And I went over to help the driver of the semi truck, and I reached in and I pulled them out. You know who it was? It was Sean Murray. He was delivering cat food to Todd Howard's house that very day. Small world. And Sean Murray delivers cat food because No Man's Sky is a bad game. And they call it, where I come from, One Man's Lie, or Sean Murray lied, or this is a bad game. Anyways, back to cats. Why do I like cats? By the way, Korrin Kammer is not back yet. Why do I like cats? Because they're fluffy and they're furry. And Sadie's very bitey. Wow, Korrin Kammer must be having a big argument with the neighbors right now. I could pause the recording, but I'm not going to. Because I made a promise to you folks. Off microphone. I'm not going to stop ever. I'm going to keep going until we are finished. And we're not finished. When Korrin Kammer comes back, we're going to continue talking about this episode of Star Trek. And now they're back.
Hey.
Hi.
All right, sorry about that.
Okay.
Is the volume going to be the same?
Yeah, because we did not change the volume.
Okay. All right. All right. Are you sure, dude?
Yeah, we did. I did not touch anything.
Because I knocked over my fucking microphone when I shut up.
I mean, you sound okay to me, and your sound is okay on the audio output here.
All right. Okay. All right. I think it's fine.
Yep. And I entertained the audience while you were gone.
Oh, so you're still recording?
Yeah, I didn't pause. I'm not going to tell you what I said, but it was amazing. You're going to have to listen back to it yourself. And my cat is here now. She must have heard your dog barking. And
yeah.
Okay, hold on, Marbles. Okay, let's see. We were at Leia Brahms, weren't we? In the holodeck?
I guess. Wait, hold up. Let's continue on with the episode and like how they solve the problem. Because you never really explained that.
Okay, yeah, they solved the problem. First, Geordi tries to use advanced AI to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Which he does, but the computer can't keep up with all the millions of changes they have to do to get out of the booby trap. It turns out that there's a lag time between when the ship starts to move and when the booby traps them. And oh yeah, we didn't say what the booby trap is. It's a space booby trap. So instead of anything useful, it's energy fields, which are always easily disabled. If you can hear that, that's my cat.
I can't hear anything.
She is currently headbutting the microphone. Oops, she got caught. And it's like everything in Star Trek. Marbles made me lose track here. Like everything in Star Trek, energy fields are easily defeated. Like all energy fields are just instantly defeated immediately. Sometimes just through a power outage, or in this case, they realize there's a lag time between when the ship starts moving and when the booby trap activates.
I mean, my only argument would be that they defeat a lot of things pretty easily.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. And so originally the computer thinks oh, they have to make all these tiny little changes all really really fast. But then it turns out they can just go in one direction,
Hmm.
and then just go in one direction. It turns out the computer never thought of that for some reason. There's no explanation of why. Like Jordy could have said, "Hey, can't we just go like in one direction and then only make changes when we absolutely have to?" And the computer could have said, "Oh yeah, that's right." Or Larry Browns could have said, yeah, "Oh yeah, that's right. We could do it that way. That's a whole lot easier than just making constant corrections nonstop."
Yeah.
Because Picard's able to do it despite the fact that the controls are terrible. Did you
Uh-huh.
notice what buttons he was pressing? Like
Fuck
they gave a close up of the buttons he was pressing. So
no.
first off, it's completely flat. There's like he has no clue what buttons he's pressing.
Well, yeah, there's no text.
Yeah,
There's
there's
no. It's not textile at all.
yeah.
So.
But here's the dumbest thing. So he just has like a left, right, back, forward, like just buttons for it. He
Uh-huh.
presses the left button, which I would assume would make the ship go to the left. But what it actually does is fire the thrusters on the left side to make it go to the right,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah,
must be incredibly confusing for anybody flying by hand. You know, now in Star Trek Generations, I think it was, they have a 1990s PC joystick to manually fly the ship.
yeah.
And I guess they upgraded. They realized, oh yeah, we shouldn't just use buttons for manually flying the ship. What I don't understand is how the computer didn't realize that it could just go in one direction and not have to constantly make corrections.
I mean, they did go in one direction, didn't he? Have to constantly go in directions.
No,
I mean, constantly like make corrections. What I meant to say.
no, no. As far as I could tell, that was the original plan, was having the computer do it and constantly make corrections. Like his computer would, like the computer was so it would have to make so many corrections so fast that even the computer couldn't keep up. So obviously Picard, who flew the ship to do it, he couldn't keep up with that. And
Well, I think they made it clear that like the reason why that what the computer was missing was like human intuition.
yeah,
Or it wasn't about keeping up. It was about like just intuition
yeah,
playing out, which I guess comes to the whole not relying on technology thing you were talking
yeah.
about.
Even though the computer could have constantly been resimulating every
Hmm.
position it was at to find the correct path. Like
Yeah.
they don't they have a very low opinion of artificial intelligence, despite the fact that they were able to make an artificial intelligence smarter than Data just by asking the computer once.
Yeah.
You know, in real life,
Are you talking about the holodeck thing?
yeah, in the holodeck when we haven't watched that episode, I don't think, for this for this amazing review Toddcast.
Are you talking about the one where like the little aliens like change the holodeck?
No, I'm talking about the one where where they're playing Sherlock Holmes
Oh, that one. Yeah, yeah. I
and
actually
Data
really like that
and
one.
because the writers don't understand how video games work,
Yeah.
they just had they just did a book exactly as the book is, and so Data
Yeah.
just memorized the book, and so he knew everything that would happen, and nobody thought, hey, maybe we should just make something new.
Yeah.
But no, so they decided to just say, hey, computer, make something that can defeat Data, and the computer does it in seconds.
Uh-huh.
And despite the fact that the computer can do that, the computer can't get through this asteroid field.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
yeah,
yeah. I
oh, go
don't
ahead.
know. Like, I guess it's just a human intuition thing. I
Yeah,
mean, it kind of made sense, but it's like,
yeah.
I, yeah,
Except the whole moral of that story doesn't make any sense because they're on a spaceship that goes faster than light, and they use a super advanced computer to make a super advanced AI to figure all this out for them.
yeah,
And they're like, "Oh, we don't need technology at all." Yes, you do. If without technology, you wouldn't even be in this situation, Jordy. And technology is keeping you in there. What was really weird is once they get out of it.
hmm.
Earlier, Data said there were thousands of these little machines in all the rocks and all the space rocks. I'm pretty sure he said that.
There's what?
There were thousands of the machines holding them there, in the booby trap. Like it wasn't just one or two. There were like a bunch of little force field machines keeping them there.
Oh, I totally missed that.
But then at the very end, they fire a couple of photon torpedoes, which apparently are not affected by the booby trap, and it
Oh, right, and
and
they
it
destroy
destroys the
it.
ship for no
Yeah,
reason because there's nothing in the ship that caused it, and
the
then it destroys.
beacon.
Well, yeah, well, I guess the beacon, but they didn't have to destroy the whole ship.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed out about that.
And then they destroy a couple of asteroids and say, okay, the booby trap's done now. Say, no, Data already told you there were a whole bunch of them in there. They would have to destroy every single space rock in that
See, I don't
asteroid field.
remember that comment from Data.
hmm And what I guess what they could have done was just put up a beacon saying, hey, it's super dangerous here. And
Hmm.
then they could have called Starfleet and said, hey, there's this super dangerous booby trap out here and an ancient spaceship. Send some space archaeologists out here and send some space booby trap people to disarm the booby trap. But instead, they just blow the whole thing up and just leave.
Well, I mean,
What if the very next day, what if somebody else got caught and they left? And they had the exact same idea, and they came back with like a whole bunch of people to disarm the booby trap the very next day. Like, what the hell happened? What happened to our what happened to our ship that we were gonna look at? And they find the warp signature of the Enterprise, and they go there and say, "Hey, what the hell did you guys do?" And Picard says, "Oh, we blew it up. You blew it up. Did you even ask anybody? You're like there's tons and tons of species are out here. You didn't even ask anybody if they knew about it." And then
oh
Picard would have
God.
said, "Oh, well," he would have done a pompous speech, of course, about how he's better than everybody else. And then it would have turned out the aliens were evil, of course. And now I don't even know where I'm going with this.
I have no idea where you're going, but I
Yeah,
do know that if you like were in charge of the show, it'd be so boring because there'd be all this minutia at the end of every episode.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's like, okay, everybody, we need to send the space janitors to clean out all of the dust that fell down.
and it'd be like in real time. It'd be like
Yeah.
40 hours just to like disarm a booby trap. And the audience would
Mm.
just be watching code go across the screen.
Be like 2001: A Space Odyssey, the TV show. Just the first couple of episodes are just trying to get out of the solar system, traveling in a straight line. Oh, speaking of that, that reminded me. So Picard had to use the gravity of one of the space rocks
Yeah, the
to get
asteroid,
out.
yeah.
So here's the problem with that: if that has enough gravity to pull the ship, it has enough gravity to pull all the space rocks around it as well. So why are they all just sitting there like that? Shouldn't they have all over the thousands of years, or over 1,000 years that was sitting there? Gravity should have pulled all those space rocks together.
I think you could pretend like they were like further in the ship, weren't they? They were further than the ship
Maybe,
got.
maybe it's just the way they made it look because that space rock wasn't big enough to have that kind of gravitational effect on on the Enterprise. I don't think so. Maybe it was just what it looked like. Maybe
Yeah, I have to admit, I was kind of surprised that that small asteroid had an
yeah.
effect.
So like I guess we can imagine it was a massive asteroid and they were really far apart and
I
they just
mean,
had to
to be
make it look
fair,
like
I have
this.
a hard time envisioning like how big the Enterprise is sometimes
Yeah,
because it's like fucking huge.
yeah, and that's Booby Trap. There's barely anything happens. There's no techno babble explanation of getting out. Like
Eh,
they didn't use the deflector dish. They didn't provide a feedback loop for the deflector dish to overload the positronic matrices of anything, which was very disappointing. I watched Star Trek for my techno babble, and I was very disappointed. There was barely any in this episode.
for the technobabble.
Yeah, no techno babble, barely any.
I don't know. I found some technobabble when he was talking to the brown lady.
Oh yeah, this is about the ship.
Mhm.
You know, in real life, there's AI that's apparently better than this.
What?
Like
How do you figure?
there's this thing called GPT-3, and it's not even AI. It's just a very advanced thing. You know how on a phone, when you're typing something in, it gives
Hmm.
you suggestions for what the next word should be.
Hmm.
That's what GPT-3 is, except it's super advanced. It's
Hmm.
what AI Dungeon runs on. Before AI Dungeon completely lobotomized it and made it terrible. And and despite the fact that all it does is just finishes text, it's able to say original things. It's able to make jokes, new jokes, and it just makes me wonder. It just makes it's. And this is something that happens in Star Trek a lot, where they have things that are super hard, like or impossible, like faster and light travel, just as a normal thing. But then they have something like artificial intelligence, which is apparently much easier than they thought back when they
Mhm.
wrote this, because just a simple text finisher, just the thing that finishes text, has the ability to appear intelligence, even though it's not.
Yeah, but like, isn't the whole thing with AI is whether or not it's self-aware?
Well, not in Star Trek. They don't care.
What? I thought they did care.
They don't care in Star Trek. Well, because Data itself, they had that whole court case about Data, but they really don't care about they really don't care about the rights of artificial intelligence because they
Okay,
had
wait. I thought in that one holodeck episode, that one AI became self-aware and it was like a
yeah,
huge deal.
yeah, but they really didn't care because they just stuffed them into like a tiny little computer and just threw them in a storage room somewhere.
I mean, I don't remember the outcome, but I
That
mean, like the point is that hadn't happened before, so that
yeah,
was like a huge deal.
yeah, except in that episode, that was the one where they just asked the computer to do it and it does it instantly.
Mm.
I remember that, and then in the series Star Trek Picard, they just have android slaves. And Voyager, they have the EMH, and despite the fact that it's clearly a super intelligent sentient AI, it doesn't work out the way they want, so they use it to mine dilithium or something. So the Federation clearly has a very dim view of AI. They don't really care about it.
Well, I mean, at least in the fucking shitty new shows.
Even in Voyager and the Next Generation, they didn't care too much about it. Picard seemed to care. I mean a little bit, but not as much as he should have. Like when Geordi made Leia Brahms, he would have gone in there and said, "Hey, wait a second, Geordi, is this Leia Brahms sentient?" And then Geordi said, I don't know." And then Leia Brahms would have said, "Yes, I am." And Picard would have said, "Oh no." And that would have been like the start of a new episode, as they have to figure out if the computer is actually sentient. Leia Brahms, the holodeck
But see,
character, is.
I don't think she was, to be
We'll
honest.
never know because they just deleted her without even asking.
Well, I mean, I think it's just assumed that just because, like, yeah, you tell a program to do something doesn't mean it's
Yeah.
suddenly self-aware.
I mean, it could. Now the thing is, it could be self-aware. It might not be self-aware. Like in the real thing that I was talking about, GPT-3, it can appear as though there's somebody on the other end talking to you, but it's just a single program just taking in text and spitting out text. And so with the holodeck characters, it could work the same way, where there's just one main computer that's making it appear as though these things are alive, but they're really just puppets. Or they could all be actually sentient. But the Star Trek never goes into that. It never actually goes into how the AI works. It just works however the episode wants it to work.
Yeah.
And if they want to delete it, oh, they can delete it. If they don't, well, we'll just throw it into a storage closet somewhere. Because that's what they did with Moriarty, with the holodeck character that was smarter than Data. They stuffed him into a computer, and we never saw him again. Like they didn't. They just stuffed him in a computer and left him in there. They didn't put him anywhere.
Hmm.
Presumably, he's in like. Actually, that ship got blown up, so maybe that. So maybe Moriarty got blown up, but nobody cared about it.
Bro, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Uh,
Like
in
it got
Star
lost at
Trek,
some point.
in Star Trek Generations, the original Enterprise gets blown up when it crashes into a planet,
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the one I haven't seen. Right?
and Moriarty must have been on there because, and I guess he died, and nobody cared.
You are talking about the movie, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about the movie.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Well, the movie kind of well, the Red Letter Media has a review of it.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they refer to movie Picard as Larry because he has nothing to do with Jean Luc. It's like he has nothing to do with the TV show version. He's completely different.
Yeah.
Oh well, I really got off track. I
Well, I
started
mean, I think we
ran.
finished the
Yeah,
episode. Like what? Yeah, we said how he flew, and
yeah.
then
There wasn't a whole lot in this episode to complain about. I prefer complaining about things.
I mean, there wasn't that much to complain about. I still think that fucking one plot hole of how that one ship got there, why they
Yeah,
went there, was kind
yeah,
of like need to be explained.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I actually rather like this episode.
yeah. I guess it was okay.
Yeah, it's
I
not
did.
like
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not like Emancipation with the space with the space people of the people from space Africa,
Yeah.
which
Was that the
which
first one we talked about?
I can't remember. I can't even remember. Well, I don't remember what we said during this episode of our Toddcast
Oh,
of,
I know. I think that was
of
the first one we talked
Star
about
Trek.
with
Yeah, I can't remember.
I just remember us both being very not happy with that episode.
Yeah,
If that was the first one we talked about. It might have
yeah.
been the second one. I'm not sure.
I think the first one we talked about was the first episode,
Oh wait, yeah, you're right.
the very first one.
Yeah, you're right. The pilot.
Yeah,
God, that episode was so long-winded.
yeah.
Jesus.
If you want me to complain about something, I can complain about something, unless you have something to do.
Oh no, I don't have anything to
Okay.
do.
Since Booby Trap had nothing to complain, really nothing to complain about, just some minor, minor things. I tried watching Jungle Cruise.
Wait, what?
The movie Jungle Cruise
Oh
just
my
came out.
God, how did you even get to see that? Isn't that
Uh,
like,
you can watch it online. They're streaming it on Disney Plus.
oh, so you have Disney
Yeah,
Plus?
use the code Catman and get 0% off. But I don't have Disney Plus. I watched it another way.
How, just online?
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you watch that movie? It looks horrible.
Well, I didn't have anything better to do. So I was watching it, and I went about an hour in before I stopped watching it because of how bad it
Uh-huh.
was.
Yeah.
So Jungle Cruise starts off like The Mummy from 1999.
Yeah,
It
that's
has
exactly what
the guy talking over stuff happening on the screen, and then it turns into Stargate from 1995,
Okay,
where
yeah.
this guy has these crazy ideas, and nobody believes him except a woman scientist believes him. Although in this case, it's a woman scientist who's his friend. I think it's really not clear how if they're related, if they're business partners.
Yeah, what's
Or
that chick's name again? I recognize the actress, but I kind of couldn't remember who she was.
that was Emily Blunt
And
was the actress's name.
is that the lady from the Pirates movie?
No, she's
Oh,
she did
I'm horrible
other
with
stuff.
actresses.
But what was the third movie? Oh yeah, it was also the start of the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie,
Yep, that's
where
exactly what it looked like, man.
where
It looked like all three of those.
Captain Jack Sparrow has to escape through London. Except in this case, but in this case, it's like the budget version of all those movies.
Yeah.
So they have a scene where she needs to escape from the bad guy,
Hmm.
who's essentially the bad guy from the Mummy, the guy who wakes up the mummy from the Mummy.
Yeah.
And I guess they didn't have the money to actually do a chase scene,
Hmm.
so they just have her run around a bit inside of her room. And some of them were let's see, they did the ladder thing from the Mummy, the Mummy. So I hadn't seen that in a long time because I wanted to see if I was remembering it right, and it was very similar. The Mummy started off better.
Hmm.
Like in the Mummy, there's a scene where the woman librarian, she's on the
Yeah,
library,
yeah.
and
And she
she's
like falls or something.
yeah, she's up on the end of of the ladder.
Hmm.
And in Jungle Cruise, she does the same thing. The
Are
woman
you
there,
serious?
she doesn't. Yeah, she does it to get away. She doesn't do it to knock something over, but she does it to get away, and she just hops on it a little bit.
God damn. So weird.
It's like they were watching all these different movies and said, "Let's do this." And
That movie looked like nothing but CGI too.
yeah, the CGI is terrible. It's
Yeah, it looked
awful.
really bad.
I did like the escape from the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie at the start. I think it's the third one. There's so many of them,
I've
and
only seen
there's
the first one. Are any of them at
the first
like
three are okay, But
Okay.
after that, it's just absolute garbage.
Okay.
Just terrible, terrible garbage. It's just worse, and each one's worse than the last. And they're actually, and what he does, he's escape. Or maybe it's the fourth one. I can't remember which one it is. It's one of them. It's one of them. It's one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It might be not the third one. It might be the fourth one. So everybody's screaming at me. I know I might be wrong, but in that one, he like does this whole setup so he can escape, and he jumps out the window and goes down these big tapestry things hanging down, and there's this big chase through the city. But in Jungle Cruise, I guess they wanted to do that. They obviously wanted to do something like that, but they must not have had the time or the money. So she just hangs out the window on a ladder, and then she falls off the ladder onto a bus that comes by, which they did in the Mummy, didn't they? There was a double decker bus they fall on in the Mummy.
I don't fully remember that. I just remember the stupid ladder, but
Yeah, and they just fall on the bus, and then the bus drives off, and that's the end of the scene. There's no chase. You think there would be a chase? They obviously wanted to have a chase there. They were copying all these other movies, and why did they copy the chase? I don't get it.
so what else happened?
Uh, let's see. In the next scene, they're going for the Jungle Cruise ride from Disneyland, which I've never been
Okay.
on. I've only seen videos of it. It's essentially the Jungle Cruise ride from Disneyland, but it's in the Amazon somewhere. Which it wasn't very clear that they were in South America at first. I thought they were in Africa because I was thinking, well, 1916, which is when the movie takes place, they're probably going to Africa, not South
Yeah,
America. But
sure.
it's South America they go to. And nothing really interesting happens. One thing is that a lot of the characters just know things. There's a scene where the woman gets captured, but the two main characters, The Rock and this other guy, they don't see her get captured. She gets put into she sees some birds, and for no reason at all, she goes down to yell at the guys with the birds, and then they capture her because apparently they knew she was going to be there. They go yell at them. I don't know how, but they put her into the cage of the birds, and she escapes. And the bird a little while later in the city, she escapes and lets the birds out, and the birds fly away. And one of the characters looks and says, "Oh, there she is." How did there's no possible way they could have known that because they didn't see her get captured. They didn't know she was with birds.
Okay.
They just see some birds fly away and say, "Oh yeah, that's there she is." And the Rock goes up there and he starts beating people up, and then they escape. And then there's some German guy who the writers, I guess, they don't know the difference between World War One and World War Two Germany, so they just
Yeah.
match them together here. So
So they're like
sometimes,
Nazis in World War One, basically.
yeah, so they're not Nazis. Like they knew Nazis didn't exist in World War One, but they obviously wanted them to be that because that's
Yeah, they're acting like Nazis.
yeah. This is exactly how I was acting. If you were if you just if you weren't looking at the uniform, you say, "Hey, what's this World War Two movie doing here in Jungle Cruise?" And he's in a submarine, which is a U-boat at the time. I guess Germany would have called it a U-boat, and the U.S. would have called it a submarine. I'm not too up on my 1916 vernacular. So if anybody's watching, we want to tell us down in the comments, don't bother because we're not going to read it. But and he's in the somehow they get the submarine into this river. We don't know what river it is. We don't know how they got it there. But he gets down there and he was following the woman because she stole something that he needed to wake up to steal the magic petals that heals things.
Okay.
And oh man, it's hard to remember these things. There's so much garbage in this movie. Because the way I'm talking, it sounds like I'm just randomly jumping between things, but that's just
Yeah,
how the
you
movie
sound
works.
like the plot line of a JRPG right now.
Yeah, it's just there's this constant thing, like some of this stuff is in order, but a lot of the stuff they just like something happens and then it just cuts somewhere else, and like what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Like there's no.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes they, like I said, characters know things that they shouldn't.
Yep. Yep.
They did establish that she had a thing that the German guy wanted.
Do they also like not know things that they should know? like in a
Uh,
lot of JRPGs.
gee, I mean, they are pretty dumb.
Where the character explains something that literally, like, the scientist should obviously know.
Yeah.
Something
Oh,
like
like
that.
the Rock makes a joke that there's a bathtub in his tiny little ship, and the woman says, "Hey, where is it?" Like she should know there isn't one. It's not. It's like look
Yeah.
how tiny the ship. It's a tiny little ship, and he says, "Oh, it's in the river." But then, like the very next scene, he shows there's a whole bunch of crazy piranhas in the water. Like, what if she said, "Okay," and leapt into the water, and the piranhas ate her? It's just so bizarre.
God, how long is that movie?
It's like 2 hours long.
And you watched it for an hour.
Yeah, it's because they
Jeez.
got to a part where they're going through for no reason. They decided to go through some rapids. They don't have to.
Yeah.
It's because they don't want to because of the slow way takes 2 more days, and so for no reason they go through the rapids. Because the woman just complains enough that the Rock says, "All right, we'll go through the rapids," which he never listened to her before. He said this time for no reason he listened to her. He said no, those are rapids, and he didn't mention this massive waterfall that they would have gone down if they're not careful, which of course in the movie they almost do. That's when I
Uh-huh.
stopped because of how dumb it was. Because he knew there was a massive waterfall there, and he still went down there. Like he says, "No, this is my ship. I'm going the slow way." Because as far as they know, the German guy that was chasing them, they tried to blow up a ship, but then he got a. That whole sequence is so dumb. I didn't even mention that. They're doing the thing where the German guy has a torpedo, where he's got a submarine, so he's firing. He's firing a machine gun at the ship, and then he runs out of, I guess, bullets, and for some reason he starts using torpedoes.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a scene. There's a part where the Rock has this little boat, and there's a torpedo coming, and the Rock looks behind him, despite the fact that there's a wall, like he's in like a room with his whatever they call the steering wheel, and he looks behind them, and they don't show it. That they're clever enough not to show it, but if they were to have the camera come out, they everybody would be able to see Rock's looking at a wall, and he says, "Oh, it's a torpedo." No, Rock, that's the wall. That's a wall you're looking at there. I think it's a wall. I might be remembering that wrong. I might be remembering where he was. But regardless of wherever he was standing, he could not have possibly seen there was a torpedo in the water coming at him, because he was at the front of the ship and the torpedo was way behind them.
Yeah.
And the ship is like it's not flat; it's angled up at the ends, so there's no possible way he could have seen it. And so he says, "All right, let's go faster," and then he does the throttle as fast as it can go, and they hit a ramp that just comes out of nowhere, and they go flying through the air, and the torpedo hits a building that also comes out of nowhere, and it blows up the building, and then something happens. I'm not exactly sure what, because the editing's really bad, and the submarine gets something caught on the rocks or something, and it crashes into some docks. And every so often, the camera goes way up in the air to show you everything, and this building that the rock just jumped over is nowhere to be seen. There's no debris or anything. It's just this tiny little river, and and, uh, and I'm just sitting there confused, saying, "Hey, where'd that building go?" And then the submarines stuck on the docks, and somehow this guy, I guess they get it. I guess they unstuck the submarine. What? Because they never show it, of course. Because the next time we see this German guy, he's waking up a mummy. Not the mummy from the mummy, but it is the mummy from the mummy. It's a jungle version of the mummy.
Really?
They don't explain how he got there because, as far as we know, it's a river,
Uh-huh.
and like this is a main river, so it's not like there's all sorts of different ways they can go. So where this is, how he got there, when he got there, is never explained. And that's like most of the movie, like that nothing's explained, just things happen. Oh yeah, oh man, there's so many crappy parts of this movie I keep forgetting about, and I remember there's a part where The Rock has this cat, this the big jaguar as a pet somehow. No explanation of how he has. I guess he's from the Jungle Book. I think The Rock in the Jungle Book, just like as The Rock, would be pretty cool. But he has a pet panther somehow. And somehow this panther knows to go into like the Rock is pretending to be some other guy because the woman thinks she's talking to somebody else, which it
Uh-huh.
wasn't very clear to me because I forgot everybody's names. Because I don't remember who was who, and somehow I don't know how they don't show it. The Rock's pet panther knows that it needs to go into this restaurant that they're in, so he can pretend to fight the panther to look heroic.
Uh-huh.
And then the woman says, "Okay, I'll hire you," because he gets found out. It turns out she finds out he's lying about who he is, but there's no explanation of how that panther knew that he needed to show up.
So is it just like a super smart panther?
I guess that panther's just sitting around. Nobody it's like nobody else knows about this panther because they're all screaming about it. Like if like they knew the Rock has a pet panther, they'd say, "Hey, the Rock, your pet panther's here." Like nobody knows it's his pet panther because they're all yelling and screaming about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand how this panther knew to go in there. Like was the panther watching the whole time and just realized, "Oh, I better go help the Rock right now," or did off camera did the Rock look out a window and say, "Hey, panther, help me out here"? I don't know because that it could have. There's so many things that seem to happen off camera because of the weird, like the really bad editing. So maybe that did happen. Maybe I just was very confused about how that panther knew
Yeah, is
that
this
he that.
panther like a main character?
It's kind of like a comic relief main character
Yeah.
because it's always everybody's always getting scared around the panther, and that's the joke that there's a panther here and they're scared of it, but it's not really a scary panther. And that's the joke as far as well, at least as far as an hour in. That's the joke. And not a whole lot happens in an hour.
It doesn't
It's
sound like it. It sounds really boring, like
yeah, it's
fluff.
not like in the Mummy. I think like by an hour in, the Mummy's already up and walking around and doing stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
here, an hour in, that's when they wake up the Mummy. Which I'm saying it's the Mummy because it's clearly the Mummy from the movie The Mummy, even though
Mm-hmm.
it's not him. It's like they're obviously he wakes him up a very similar way. They even wake it up with the Mummy going rah at the camera
Mm-hmm.
the same exact way.
Are you, do you remember that one thing where he like says the spell and his face drops or something?
Oh yeah. I remember that
Does it
part.
do that?
I never got to that. I never got. I'm sure it does. They copied everything else from the Mummy. I'm sure they did that.
So wait, let me get this straight. Is this movie about like a jungle cruise
Yeah,
in South America, you said?
yeah. It somehow these guys got caught by the jungle. Like it turns
Uh-huh.
out that there's all these plants that are alive, and they capture the people who are there because they're looking for this magic plant that can heal people, which kind of makes the jungle seem like a jackass. Like, oh, you just want this plant that can heal people? No, screw you. You're gonna be a mummy. You're gonna be a cursed mummy.
Yeah.
And I don't know how a mummy can form because a mummy needs like a dry air or something like that, and it's in the middle of the jungle, which is always humid. So how a mummy formed?
Do
I
they
don't
have
know.
mummies in that part of the world?
I don't know. Like maybe it's a magic mummy. It's a magic mummy. It can do anything. I bet if I watched these side by side, a lot of the scenes would match up. So
Dude,
how much it
you should fucking
matches?
do that. That'd be funny.
That's what Red Letter Media already did that with
Well,
Transformers.
yeah, I actually remember that.
So
That's why I
I
was
was just
saying
copying it.
that would actually work. They did that with Transformers, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like a lot of the scenes matched up.
Yep. Have you ever watched a Transformer movie?
Nope, I've
I've
never seen a
watched
Transformer movie.
I've watched half of the first one and then I walked out on it.
Uh, Maybe we should watch Jungle Cruise and review that.
Oh my God. It sounds horrible. It honestly just sounds like a huge waste of
Oh
time.
yeah,
Like,
that's oh my god, I keep remembering so many things. He keeps calling the woman character who I have no idea what her name is. He keeps calling her lady in pants.
pants.
Yeah, because she wears pants. And
Oh,
hold on a second, I'm getting more calls from telemarketers.
all good.
All right, it's solved. And I don't know. I'm positive she used her name once, but
Yeah.
she never says, "Hey, here's what my name is." Not once does she ever like say, "No, that's not my name. My name isn't Lady. It's something else." And then I remembered in the Mummy, Brendan Fraser keeps calling the woman Lady at first.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure she does that, or he does that, and then eventually starts using her name. I'm absolutely positive they do that. Like all the characters are very similar. Brendan Fraser and The Rock are the same character. The woman librarian and the woman scientist are the same character. The two skinny white dudes are the same character. Except the guy in the Mummy is much cooler. I think I think that was her brother in the Mummy. He's much cooler. I think, in my opinion, than the weird guy in the Jungle Cruise movie.
Wait, what are you talking about? Who's much cooler? Which one?
From the skinny white guy from the Mummy. You remember him?
No,
There was only one skinny white guy in that movie.
I don't remember.
I can't remember what his name was. Uh, but it's essentially the main cast are almost identical to each other between the Mummy and Jungle Cruise. It's they should have just taken the Mummy and used CG to add like trees and jungles to it and said, "Yeah, this is Jungle Cruise. It's not the Mummy for 1999. It's Jungle Cruise." They would have saved a lot of money doing it that way, I think. Not having to shoot a whole movie. That would have been great for them. Like, well, that's just, that movie was delayed. The Jungle Cruise was delayed for 2 years.
Oh my
It was
god.
supposed to come out in 2019, and it came out just a couple days ago.
I wonder why.
Well, the first year probably sucked so bad they had to reshoot it, and in the second year, and then 2020, they weren't releasing anything in theaters.
Yeah, but you think they were actually reshooting it, or do you think it was a CGI artist like fixing shit?
Oh yeah, probably the CG. The CG is terrible. It's awful.
Yeah.
It looks like they took the CG from a fully animated movie, like from a fully animated movie from the early 2000s,
Uh-huh.
and put it into this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Like a
CGI looks
fully
really
animated, a modern fully animated movie looks better than the CG in this movie because everything kind of looks like it doesn't belong, like it's pasted over the top of the video.
Mm-hmm.
Like none of the lighting's correct on anything. Everything just looks really bad. It's all just bad. I don't like any of the Jungle Cruise. It's all bad. Don't watch the Jungle Cruise.
I
It's a
can't
bad
believe you even
movie.
tried.
Yeah, I thought, okay, I'll watch this. Because I thought, oh yeah, I remember the Mummy. I like that movie. I assumed, oh, if it's like the Mummy, it must be good like the Mummy because I remember liking that movie. But no, turns out when they just copy another movie,
Yep.
you can just go watch the original movie. That's going to be better. Is there anything you would like to complain about?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're about an hour in here.
Didn't you say you played The Last Hope or something?
The Last Hope. Oh, for Star Ocean.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember
That
which one.
I haven't played that in years. The only part I remember of that game was that one of the characters never buttoned her pants, and I never knew why. And it's only years later I realized, oh, it's some anime thing. It's
Wait,
just
really?
yeah, it's like some weird thing. You know how there's always some weird thing in anime where some character has this dumb thing about them,
Design.
dumb design or
Yeah.
something. It's just an anime thing. Just
Wait,
for
what platform did you play that on?
I think it was the PlayStation 2.
Okay, see, I'm trying to remember. I played one on the PSP. Was it First Departure or something?
Yeah, that's the only Star Ocean game I ever played. I don't remember a thing about it.
Well, anyway, I'm playing Integrity and Faithlessness on
Mm-hmm.
PS4,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm sure you heard got excellent reviews. Everyone loves this game.
I've never even heard. I haven't even heard of it.
All right, well, I'm being facetious.
Oh, okay.
Everyone hates this
you
game, but I
know,
actually find it better than the Star Ocean
we
everyone
should do a
loves.
video on JRPGs.
Oh God, dude! Oh my God, dude! The amount of tropes in this game are ridiculous.
Let's
It's
see here.
literally like
Oh wow,
JRPG the game. I mean, it's
58% on Metacritic.
yeah. That's actually better than I thought it would be. I actually thought it might get a
Yeah.
lower one just
So
because of how many people dislike it.
what I want to know is why are JRPG characters always just so dumb?
Oh, dude, that's why I was asking you about the Jungle Cruise thing because people will talk to
Yeah.
each other about things, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you're literally a scholar. You should
Yeah, you should
know
know that.
this. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's constant. They constantly tell each other shit that
Yes.
they should already know. Like,
JRPGs are written like they're for like little really little kids.
yeah,
It's really bizarre. You know, they weren't always written like that.
no, they weren't. They used to
Like
be really, really good.
the 90s Final Fantasy games, they
Yeah,
weren't written like that. They weren't written like perfectly, but
dude, that's why I get.
they weren't written like I was an idiot.
Well, and they also had like tension
Yeah.
and like
I was
actual plot lines.
in Yakuza Like a Dragon. That's a JRPG now.
Uh-huh.
All the cutscenes just last forever.
Yeah.
And they just constantly say the same thing over, like something that could have been said in one sentence. They just have to spend like 10 minutes talking about it.
Oh, I know.
I
The
hate
amount of
that.
minutia they go over is just constant. I mean, it's the same thing in this game too. Like there'll
Yeah.
be a cutscene and they literally just talk about how to fly somewhere faster for 5 minutes. And it's really not
So
interesting.
did
And by the way,
yeah.
like all the terms they use in this game are all like Star Trek terms. There's like warp cores and photon torpedoes and oh dude, they even have this thing on their ship where like there's a cook
Yeah.
and everyone likes to cook food, but they hate the food made by the replicator,
Yeah.
which is just like Voyager.
Yeah. Did they do the thing where it looks like the cutscene ends where it goes to black, but then the cutscene just continues?
Yeah, because it has to load.
Yes, I hate
So it
that.
goes to black, and you're about ready to resume
It's like,
control, and
thank
it's
you,
like
it's
comes
done.
back up, and
Oh
they're still
no,
talking.
they're still talking about
Or no,
this.
like you know what this game loves to do? They have like a 5 minute cutscene where you can't do anything, and you're just standing there like a child listening to adults talk, and like it finally ends, and they're like, "Okay, go to this room," and you walk 5 feet, and then
Oh
another
yes,
cutscene
another
starts.
cutscene starts.
You're like, "Oh my God!"
I don't understand why all JRPGs are made that way. Like every
Because
single one. You
they
think
started to suck and like people today if you tell them they
Mhm.
suck now they're like no they don't, this is how they are, and
Yeah.
it's like no
Yeah,
dude they used to be good.
I see people on Reddit say, "Oh, that's just how they write in Japan." Really? They
No,
write
no, no, give me
badly?
a break.
I've watched a couple of animes from Japan and they were not written that way at all.
Yeah, there's a couple good animes and it's like
Like
stop fucking supporting the shitty
yeah,
ones, man.
because
Like they might write good ones.
like a lot of those animes they have to fit within like 24 minutes or 47 minutes. So
Uh-huh.
they don't have time to spend half an hour talking about what goes into the garbage can and what goes into the sink and what clothes we're gonna wear. They have 24 minutes to get an episode done. Start,
Okay,
middle, finish.
so here's like an example of like the minutia too. Like they had a little girl, right? She's
Yeah.
like supposed to be kind of little. Explain to a obviously adult woman how to cook rice. Okay, so that was a cutscene, and then, or at least like a dialogue moment, and then there's like this other moment where these two scholars, I'll just call it magic. They're not. It's not called magic in the game, but one of them explains to the other one how magic works, and they're both mages, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And it's literally just for the viewer.
Says, hey, do you remember that you're a mage? Oh yes, I do remember I'm a mage. What do
As you
mages do
know,
again? I liked in Futurama where they took some of the tropes. When you said "as you know," that reminded me of one of the lines where one of the characters says, "as you probably don't know," or that like that one, but then another one they do the subversion on the as you know, where the professor says "as you know," and he says something super complicated, and when another
yeah.
character says, "Gah, don't patronize us."
Oh God, and like all the characters are the same. You have the one character that's like obsessed with food.
Yeah.
And then you have like the slutty character, and then you have the guy that's obsessed with women. It's like they throw the same six characters over and over again in every JRPG. It's like they know six people and they just keep using the same people over and over again.
They must all have like a template script somewhere that they all just sell to each other. Like somebody wrote it back in 2000, and they said, "Well, that's it. That's the script we're using from now on. We're just gonna use just where some Mad Libs. So here's here. Put your nouns here, and put your adjectives here, and your proper nouns here, and then you've got yourself a JRPG." Marbles is back. You heard me. You heard us talking about JRPGs, and she said, "Oh, I want to get in on this."
Yeah, it sounds like you send out this bunny familiar in this game,
Yeah.
and the way you said Marbles is back kind of sounds like when the game announces the bunny familiar is back. Marbles is back. Does anybody like herbs with her or anything?
Oh boy. Have, let's, have you played Like a Dragon?
No, I don't even know
Okay.
what that is. Like a
It's
dragon? What?
it's a mod it's a modern JRPG. Or I mean
It's called
it's
Like a
it's called
Dragon?
Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's set in
Wait, you're not talking about the one. You're not talking about that one series.
yeah, Yakuza. It's a
Oh, you are. I
it
didn't know
was
they had a game called
all the
like a.
other games were action RPGs, but
Uh-huh.
Like a Dragon is a JRPG.
Oh, okay. I
And like
didn't know.
they
No, I
don't
never
even
heard
try
that
to
one.
hide it. They like the main character loves Dragon Quest, and he
Okay.
has a job it's called Hero.
Yeah.
And
See, I
at some point in
hate.
the game, it says, "Oh, you're gonna see all these enemies as if they're JRPG enemies, but they really don't change anything about them. They just kind of slightly change from what they look like."
Uh-huh.
Which was I mean they should which kind of made me sad because I was wanted to see some cool enemy designs. But
Yeah,
what were you
I hate
saying?
Yakuza. So, did you finish that game?
No,
Okay, yeah.
I
Was
got
it just as
bored.
boring as their normal games?
Yeah, it's the
Oh my God, those
cutscenes.
games are so boring.
Those cutscenes just go on forever and
Well,
ever and ever.
the stories are they're like Spanish soap operas or something, man.
Yeah,
They're so lame. Like,
there's this one part where the main character gets shot in a cutscene, and
uh-huh.
when he wakes up, a whole bunch of random crap happens, and it says, "Hey, I found this piece of paper. On one side, it looks like a yen note, but on the other side, it's blank. What could it possibly be?"
Uh-huh.
And nobody can figure out what it's supposed to be. On one side, it's currency. On the other side, it's blank. And it's the same size
Was it
as the note.
counterfeit?
Yeah, you figured it out instantly. They couldn't figure it out until they found counterfeit bills, unfinished counterfeit bills, and they compared the
Oh,
two and said, "Oh
God.
wow, this counterfeit bill looks just like this other thing that looks the same.
That's
They must be
exactly why I hate
counterfeit bills."
so much writing in so
And
many
it
video
takes them
games.
forever to get to that point.
See, that sounds like Blue's Clues level of
Like,
thing.
yeah, what could, what, what could this picture be? What is this picture of? It's a bird. Oh, I don't know what it could be. Let's see, what sound does it make? Tweet, tweet, tweet. It's a bird. Hmm. I wonder what it could be.
Have you ever tried to
Let's.
play a normal one? A normal Yakuza game?
I did, and I couldn't get into the combat. It was just way too difficult for
Yeah, it
me.
was just yeah. I remember we got one for free on PS4, and it was just so fucking boring. I wanted to shoot myself in the head. It's I guess it's the same people that like that Shenmue game,
Yeah.
which is also fucking dull. I don't know if you ever tried that one.
Hold on a second. Whoops. I had noises I had to take care of. But
Okay.
I played Shenmue on the Dreamcast when it came out.
Well, yeah, of course. That's what I mean.
Yeah, way back when.
Yeah, me too.
Uh, I think
Did you actually finish it?
I never finished it.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I want to say I might have liked it.
Oh, really? You can't remember? Okay. I
It's
remember
hard
beating
to
it.
remember. I think people liked it because that was 1999 when it came out,
Well, see,
and there
that's the
wasn't any.
thing.
Yeah,
That's the thing. When they like remastered that, I was like, Is anyone gonna finish that today?" Like, I seriously was like,
yeah.
you have all these like Gen X gamers talking about how great it is, and I'm like, dude, Zoomers gonna buy that game and they're gonna be like, wow, this is really boring, you know?
Yeah. That's something that happens with a lot of old games.
Yeah.
There's terrible, terrible games, And then like 10 or 20 years later, oh, no noises, some more noises outside. 10 or 20 years later, there's these weirdos that say, "No, this game's the best game ever," and you play
Well,
it and it's
that's the
terrible.
thing. It's like there are great games that are old, but like there are some that are so fucking boring, and like
Yeah,
that's one of them where I just I can't imagine anyone that didn't grow up during that time period is
yeah,
going to buy that remaster and actually finish it.
yeah,
I bet they sold a lot.
yeah.
They probably sold a lot of that remaster, and a bunch of Zoomers fucking played like 5 hours, and they were like, "Wow, this is
Oh, they
boring."
didn't make it 5 hours in. I watched. I didn't remember anything about the game, so I watched like a on Giant Bomb. They did a quick or not a quick look of it. They did a playthrough of it.
Uh-huh.
It turns I did not remember any of this, but it turns out most of the game is just running back and forth between different people and talking to them.
Yeah, yeah,
I did
yeah.
not
That's a lot of the
remember that
game.
at all.
Yep, it's
Like,
really boring, and the combat's horrible.
yes, yes. But it was 1999, and we liked that kind of terrible combat back then.
I mean, like the thing is though, is like, see, I'd prefer just turn-based over something like that.
Yeah, back then we thought QuickTime events were cool. We thought,
Yeah,
whoa, QuickTime event, this is awesome. This is like watching a movie.
yeah.
But
I hated
but QuickTime
it.
events, but like QuickTime events were around since before I was born. The first game that I know of that had a QuickTime events was
You're
that
gonna mention
dragon
that one game.
that
Yeah,
dragon game. It was like it was a 19. I think it came out in 1983.
yeah. You're talking about the one on arcade.
Yeah, that had QuickTime events, and so it wasn't really new at the 1999. But we thought it was we thought QuickTime events were still cool in 1999.
Yeah, I think it's more like I don't know. I think the way QuickTime events were incorporated in God of War was kind of different.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of like the when things changed
yeah,
with
but
that type of gameplay.
yeah, and even God of War eventually got rid of QuickTime events. I remember
Yeah, thank God.
for a short period of time, it seemed every single game had QuickTime events,
Yep, yep.
and then they stopped because they realized those were terrible.
Well, they did like a hard stop, man. Like they just
Yeah.
suddenly all stopped like simultaneously to
So
the point where it's almost like a conspiracy.
yeah, the have you played the Spider-Man game on PlayStation 4?
No, I haven't. I don't like
That
Spider-Man.
has QuickTime events, but there's an option to just turn off the QuickTime events,
Okay.
and it just play and if you turn those off, it just plays out the cutscenes as though they're just cutscenes.
Yeah,
And
see, did you ever play Bayonetta?
no, I didn't.
God, that was my biggest complaint about Bayonetta was the damn QuickTime events that even when you get it, you still fail.
Yeah, but yeah, but in Spider-Man, you can just turn them off if you want
Yeah,
to,
that's nice. I'm
which
surprised they
makes
even bothered to have them, to be
yeah.
honest.
There's
It
also
just seems really
puzzles.
archaic.
There's also
Uh-huh.
puzzles which start getting really hard, and you can just turn those off too. You just turn off the puzzles, but you still get the rewards for doing the
Does this
puzzles.
hinder your trophies at all, or what?
I don't know because I never paid attention to what trophies I was getting.
Oh my God, that sounds ridiculous. Does the game play itself after a point?
No, it's just those two things, just the quick time events and the puzzles.
Hmm.
People say it uses Batman combat, which is kind of true, except in Spider-Man, the combat, in my opinion, doesn't have a whole lot of weight to it. Which I guess he's
Yeah.
Spider-Man, so he doesn't. He's not supposed to have a lot of weight to him. Like in the
Hmm.
Batman games, there's a lot of weight to it, but in Spider-Man, it was just it didn't feel the same to me.
Yeah.
And I found that people call me a loser, but I think the Spider-Man combat isn't very good.
I mean, I don't like the Batman comment.
I like the Batman combat. It's
See,
the way that
I
Spider-Man did
don't.
it. The way Spider-Man
I
does
don't
it, it's
know.
terrible.
I
I
haven't played Spider-Man, but like, I don't know. With Batman, I just got really, really bored. I just felt like I was hitting square a lot.
yeah, you do that a lot. I,
I mean, people say that about God of War, but honestly, I found
yeah,
God of War like more.
but
I mean, I'm talking about old God of
yeah,
War.
but the way it's implemented in Batman is it's kind of almost like a rhythm game, a hidden rhythm game where you can't just smash attack or you smash the counter button. You have to do it at the correct time, or the enemy
Hmm.
can stop you. Like if you just
Yeah.
smash attack, the enemies are gonna hit you. But if you
Well, yeah,
do it,
that's definitely true.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like once you figure out the whole combat system does like because I know you do a whole lot of hitting with just attack button, but there's a whole bunch of different combos you can do as well.
Have you ever played a Golden Axe game?
The only Golden Axe game I played was on the Sega Master System
Damn it, I was really hoping you'd say PS3.
when I was a little
Um,
kid.
well, yeah, okay, not the old one. They had like that remake, reboot. I don't know what how you want to call it, but they had a Golden Axe game on PS3.
Hmm.
They had like a really good counter parry system that was like based on colors, and it was like actually highly engaging. I like that game more.
See,
The only thing I did like about Batman though, and the reason why I
yeah,
messed around with it for a while is because at least in that Asylum one,
yeah,
they had all the voice actors from the animated series,
oh
and I'm like
yeah.
a big fan of the animated series. So
I'm
it's kind
trying.
of cool to see them
I'm
again.
trying to remember if I ever saw the animated series because
You're
I,
kidding me.
I was the right age for it
Oh
in the
my God, you
'90s.
didn't watch it after school, man?
I don't remember. I don't
Holy
remember much from
shit.
back then. I remember watching X-Men. That was a cool
Yeah,
show.
X-Men was on too. I didn't like X-Men. Like Batman was so much better than X-Men, I have to admit.
Mm. I can't remember if I watched it or not.
Um, man, that's shocking because the first three seasons of that show are like amazing.
You want to know how bad my memory is? I had a PlayStation, the original PlayStation, and the only game I know I had lots of games for it. Only game I ever remember playing for that was Final Fantasy VII. I
Final
don't
Fantasy
remember.
VII was fucking awesome.
Yeah, at the time it was awesome. I tried replaying it lately,
Oh, dude,
and
I played it back when it first came out, and I replayed it like a few years ago, and I
oh
still
really?
loved it.
Oh
Yeah,
really?
I still
I,
love it. Yeah.
what I didn't like was that I didn't know it at the time, but now I do. Was the save system? It's like you
Yeah.
have to be at a save point to save or in the world map, which I
Yeah.
didn't know in the like the re-release, the recent re-release, whichever one that is. Whenever you change screens, it auto saves for you, which I didn't know at the time.
Oh, that's stupid.
And
Okay.
I got to a point where I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to play right now, but I haven't got to a save point. I need to get to a save point before I quit.
Oh, so you actually did. You should have known that. All right, gotcha.
Yeah, and I don't want. And I found that out while looking up information for Final Fantasy IX because there's a really cool remaster of, well, not the remaster itself isn't really cool. It's what the mods for it where they
So wait a minute. In the original PlayStation, so you tell me you didn't have Twisted Metal?
I might have.
Tomb
It's just,
Raider.
yeah, I think yeah, I had that. I think.
Okay.
The only thing is I
You
don't
don't.
remember those games. I only remember Final
Oh
Fantasy
my
VII.
God.
I remember
Final
telling
Fantasy 10? Oh, you said 7. Okay, I thought you said
7.
10 out of nowhere. I was like, dude, your memory's getting even more warped.
10 is ten's PlayStation
2.
2,
Yeah.
and that's the one where they laugh. Ha 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 ha.
God, why does everyone make fun of that? Like, it was
Yeah,
supposed to be
yeah. It's
stupid.
supposed to be stupid. Like if you go to that part, I think that yeah, they even specifically say that right before that.
They
Like,
even said it's supposed to be dumb, and
mm,
like everyone's like, wasn't that stupid?
yeah, like yeah, they say that.
Very good.
Final Fantasy is the only one that doesn't seem to follow the same JRPG tropes as everybody else, but
Oh,
they
they
do
started
follow.
following them later on.
Yeah, but they do follow Final Fantasy tropes.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly, totally, dude.
But like I played in Final Fantasy 15, like the characters aren't complete idiots like a normal JRPG characters.
In 15, oh god, I hated 15. You
Yeah,
finished
I didn't
15?
like no, I didn't like 15 either.
Did you
They
finish it?
no,
Oh god, I did. I fucking regret every minute.
I didn't like it. I did not like it because they did the thing I hate in open world games, which is where they have an open world, but there's no reason to have it.
Yeah.
They could have just made it a regular Final Fantasy game.
I just was like bored out of my mind, man. I didn't like
Yeah,
the combat. The story was bad.
the combat was just I played it for like I played cut through a couple of bosses. I can't remember exactly how far I got, and no matter how much I played it, I could not figure out the combat system.
Oh
I
yeah,
just did
I
not
wasn't good
understand
at
it.
it. I just fucking fucked my way through the
Yeah,
game like hard.
the
Like
magic system in Final Fantasy 15 is just so dumb. I hate that because I just want to cast magic on an enemy, but it always casts it in an area of effect, and then my teammates leap into the area of effect like it's World of Warcraft in a dungeon where everybody says, "Oh, I better jump into this giant red thing." That's what your teammates do in Final Fantasy 15, and they get hit by it. Like it would have been
Yeah.
okay if they didn't have friendly fire. I
Dude,
don't understand why they did that.
like I know this is a trope of a lot of games, but
Hmm.
Final Fantasy 15 was especially bad for it. The repeated lines over and over again. Like
I
the quit
blocked it
your
all out.
bitching line was just said so often. It
I
was just yeah.
I blocked out everything from that game.
I mean, you're lucky. I shouldn't have finished it. I hated it, and I
Yeah.
just kept playing.
I Actually I do remember the very start of the game when they're pushing the car that died. I thought that was just the dumbest way to start the game because these are supposed to be the
Yep.
heroes and they're so dumb.
Oh, they ran out
The,
of gas, right?
yeah, no, I think their car broke down, but
Was it?
they're
I thought they ran out of
but
gas.
like they're
Okay.
so incompetent that they didn't bother getting the car checked before going out.
Yeah. I
And
don't
then they
know.
push
I
it.
also remember that horrible song that played during that part.
That wasn't that stand by that the song that goes stand
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
like a
What does that
remake.
song have to do with what's happening?
It's so stupid. And it's also like a remake of like a decent
Oh
song, so
yeah,
it made it even lamer.
I was
God,
expect.
I hate everything about that game. I also think it's ugly, man. Like just the aesthetics
Yeah.
of it are so fucking hideous. You have like a boy band in the desert in like a weird Americana fantasy world. It's
Yeah.
ugly. It's stupid
Yeah.
looking.
I th- I haven't played the Final Fantasy VII remake. That looks better.
I have no interest in playing that.
Yeah, it looks better, and the combat system looks like they fixed it.
I'm sure it's way better than 15, but I
Yeah.
mean like as someone who loves Final Fantasy 7, I
Hmm.
know they changed the story. They added time travel and I
Yeah.
just have no interest.
Oh, they didn't add time travel. What it is, I haven't played it, but I think what it is that something is changing the original story, and then they have these ghost things that are trying to push it back to the way it's supposed to be from
Oh,
the original game. But then, like at the end of the game, they do something where the ghosts can't change it back, like they all die or something, or they do some other anime thing, and then they can now the ghost can't change it anymore. Because there's like I remember I watched like a section where like a whole bunch of characters that never died in the original game they die, but then the ghosts show up and bring them back to life because they weren't supposed to die.
yeah. How do you know all this?
I just watched some of I didn't play it, but I did watch some gameplay of it, and I think I watched a
Oh,
detailed
okay.
review of it.
I guess, yeah, I guess something my friend said just made me think it was time travel. But either
Yeah,
way, I think it's stupid. I
yeah,
think the story's really good in the original one.
yeah. I think like Sephiroth shows up immediately, pretty early on.
Hmm.
Like he doesn't even like I don't think you even see him except flashbacks until
Yeah,
much
in
later in the
fucking Final
game.
Fantasy 7, you have that one flashback, and there's like that sweet ass opening,
Yeah,
the music, and it's like awesome.
yeah. I don't even think we see Sephiroth in the original game until much later. But from what I saw, I think Sephiroth knows like it's a remake of the game or something, and he's changing the story or something. I've not. That's what I got from just watching random bits of gameplay.
That is weird. I didn't know that was a take they're doing.
I don't know if that's the case. That just seems like something an anime villain would do. Like they would know
Dude,
that they're in a video game.
so you're literally making shit up, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
repeat it to someone.
yeah,
Dude, you know what else? The game isn't even done.
yeah. They still have to make a. Well, technically, this is the first. Technically, it's a complete story because it's like 40 hours long. The game is.
How can it be 40 hours long? It's only one third of the original story.
They expand out the whole game because you know in the whole game takes place in Midgar. It's like
Oh
the
yeah.
whole you know like Midgar in Final Fantasy VII is like 2 hours or
Hmm.
maybe three depending on how long you grind.
Yeah,
But
and this is
this
all in
first yeah
Midgar,
this part
right?
this is all mid it's the whole Midgar section right up to the very end. But this time it's 40 hours, so you spend a lot
Yeah,
more time
see,
in the city.
that's just I don't know. Whatever. I just don't agree with it. I don't care that it exists, but I just don't agree with it.
Well, if it comes to Game Pass on Xbox, I'm gonna play it.
Well, you fucking should, and then you should tell me
Yeah,
if you make it past 5 hours.
yeah. It still does. Like I did watch in some of the first part. It still does some of that GRPG stuff. Like Barrett is just giving a speech for no particular reason, and he's acting like people are talking to him, even though nobody is. And like, but then the other characters are just looking at each other, like really confused what the hell he's going on about.
I remember Barrett having some outbursts in the original game.
Yeah, I think maybe
He
that's what
was
they were
suddenly
trying to
like
do.
really pissed off about the ways people were treated or some
Yeah,
shit.
that's exactly what happened in the remake.
Yeah. I
Like
mean
the
that's
whole
that's old Barrett.
yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's a good part. So you know in the first game you blow up the reactor.
Yep.
In the remake, you set the bomb, you get out, but the bomb doesn't go off.
Oh really?
What actually happens is it turns out your bomb didn't work. Shinra blew up the reactor.
Oh, I think I remember that because there's like a cutscene that shows that. Because I
Yeah,
actually saw some kind of
yeah.
sneak peek, or I played the demo. I
Which
think.
I don't know why they did that because it's not like it matters. I mean, there must be a story
Yeah.
reason for it.
Well, that was my first introduction to they changed shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is stupid. And then my
Oh,
friend told me,
you
oh
know
yeah, there's like a
why?
time for
It's
everything.
probably because in the first game, them blowing up like the plate so it falls down, it kind
Uh-huh.
of comes out of nowhere. So they probably did it here so it doesn't just completely come out of nowhere. Like, okay, they're gonna blow up their own stuff.
Huh.
Because I want to say in the first game like that does come out of nowhere. They just say okay we're gonna blow up the pillar holding up the top plate. Just it just happens.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to think of it.
And then in the remake they actually have a build up to it. It just doesn't just happen.
Okay, I'm fucking thirsty as hell and
Me
hungry.
too. My,
So
my
like my
throat
mouth is like
hurts.
dry as hell.
My throat hurts. So we're an hour and a half in.
Okay. I
So
actually couldn't tell because I hung up and I was like,
yeah.
damn, we talked for an hour and 10, but yeah,
So
now you just told me it's
yeah,
actually longer.
yeah, you'll have to find out what I was talking about when you hung up because
Oh, I will.
there's like I think it was around 16 minutes in or so.
Oh yeah, it's no problem.
Yeah.
I'll listen to it when I like
Yeah.
play a game.
All
I
right.
actually kind of do that sometimes. I listen to
Oh.
an older one that like I don't remember, and I'll be like, holy shit, why did I say that? So embarrassing.
I just say things. I don't remember what I say. Like I can't
Oh
remember
no,
anything said during this whole thing.
I know because you contradict yourself a
Yeah,
lot. Like he said the exact opposite the last time I talked to him.
I just say things and hope they make sense, and then I forget what I said.
All right, man. Well, yeah, I guess. Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess that's the end of. Oh, I'm barely finished. My throat's all scratchy now.
I hope you have water with you.
Yeah, I do.
My water's like totally empty. That's why I'm trying to get off to go fucking get
But I
some
guess
water.
that's the end of the episode of this
Yep, that's it. That's
podcast of Star Trek.
that's the next generation booby trap,
Yeah.
everyone. It had a
Yep.
lot of Final Fantasy
Yeah,
VII
a lot of
talk.
Final
Just
Fantasy and Jungle Cruise, and there's also some cats in there too.
yeah, like God, so much Final Fantasy VII talk.
Man, it's
So
weird that Jungle Cruise stole so much. They also stole from Final Fantasy and JRPGs. But now that you've heard the review of Booby Trap, you can go and watch it and see if you agree with us and leave your comments and complaints down
hey, wait,
below.
wait, wait, Catman, where can they watch it?
Oh, they can watch it on the internet. There's all sorts of places they can watch Booby Trap on the internet. And if
I
you're
hear
if
that. I hear there's
it,
a code on Amazon Prime.
yeah, oh yeah, it's if you type in Catman and Korrin Kammer, you can get 0% off.
It's weird because it seems like there's not enough like space to actually write both, but
Yeah,
just it doesn't matter. It works.
yeah,
Just
you
keep
get
typing.
0% off. If it doesn't work, don't complain to us. We didn't put it in there. But that's the end of the episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it. My throat is scratchy, and I'm about to cough my throat out
All right.
once I'm done. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.